Hey, I'm straight up off the block, hopped in the phone and pushed the top back. I've been hustling for a long time and I can't stop that. Big like I'm Nick, best believe it, and them all back. Yeah, I be ballin' all the time, I'm point guard and a quarterback.
Welcome to a special edition today of our one-on-one interviews here with Sports and Culture Sports Media. I'm your host, Tyler Butler. All of our interviews are brought to you by the Carolina Law Group. Make sure you go get your free consultation today by visiting them at www.thecarolinalawgroup.com. This is the first. This will be my first artist for my one-on-one interview, and I mean this is a remarkable talent. If you haven't seen the show yet, which we're going to get into, I have with me today, and I'm going to continue to preface that, a remarkable talent in front of me, Amira Doherty, also known as Amira Unplugged. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Wait, okay, good. I'm unmuted.
Oh yeah,
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
No, this is awesome, man. I always love talking to other people that's involved in music. It's my favorite thing to kind of get away from life in general, turn into music. Saw you vibing to the intro. That's always a good thing for me. But let's, I guess, kick everything off. I like to start kind of at the very beginning. What age did you actually start singing, and do you have any memories with your dad? 'Cause I know your dad was your vocal coach.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I guess my earliest memory is probably when I was 4. And it's really funny because I was in pre-K, and I remember we were watching the Rugrats Lost in Paris movie. My school was, and afterward I was singing this song from it called "I Want a Mom," right? Because I felt so sad for the character who had lost his mother. And all these kids, it was like something out of a movie. All these kids came and started listening, and they were like, "That was really good," and all this different stuff. And it just made me feel so connected to the people. I remember that feeling that I had when I was 4. From there, my dad and I, have been just listening to music from around the world, studying it. And he was the first one to teach me about warm-ups and, how to protect your voice and all these different things, and how to expand my repertoire and my thinking, in what kind of notes to hit, how to touch people and all these different things. So I always try to give him a big shout out on that.
Wow. So, your parents, do both of them come from a musical background as well?
My dad is a singer and writer. My mom is a painter. So,
Art.
but she can carry a tune. She can carry a tune though.
Yeah, and that's always. I'm always fascinated, kind of with the background and the family background and how you got involved. That's pretty cool having your dad with that musical background and your mom in art, because at the end of the day, both are some type of art form.
For sure. And I would say that music has been just so inspiring in our house in general. Just if we wanted to relax, if we wanted to get excited, or, if it was time to rock out and headbang, or to relax and listen to some Sade, anything that we were doing was punctuated with music. Even if it was my sister and my mom creating art, it was always their muses on as well. So it definitely is really ingrained in me.
That is and I was listening to one of your performances, and I was talking with my wife, and I'm like, man, I can hear Tony Braxton.
Oh,
My my wife said she could hear a little bit of Adele.
oh.
Uh, so I would say, I guess the question I have, just by hearing so many genres in your voice, which artists influenced you the most growing up?
I think that, I always go back to a mix of Earth, Wind, and Fire and AC/DC. I think that, and then
Oh,
a lot of funk, like Parliament, those sorts of things. If you listen to those kind of 3 groups with some Erica thrown in there, I think that those are artists who really influenced me. And then I had to find a way to have my voice come through that. But the funk, the rock, the soul, alternative, all those things, definitely kind of create who I am as an artist.
Absolutely. And you mentioned Erica Badu. I can definitely see that, especially with the ATL theme that you did on the show.
Oh
That,
yeah.
yeah, I was like, okay, that's very, very Erica Badu like. So I can see where that's coming out to play.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I feel like it's just I'm a combination of a lot of different things, and then I'm trying to bring a lot of different people to the table to have a conversation through music. So I think it requires me to listen to things from around the world at this point for sure.
Yeah, and kind of, on that subject matter, like when I grew up, my music kind of fluctuated depending on the mood. Like if I was studying, I needed Frank Sinatra.
Mm.
If I'm driving, it's going to be something like Migos. Uh, what kind of, I guess, genre would you say that you like? Is there a particular one that you like more than the other?
It sounds so cliche to say that I can't pick a favorite, but what I mean is like I genuinely, if I'm listening to Irish step music, I'm so into it. If I'm listening to funk, that is my jam. Violins, I got it. You know what I mean? So it's like whatever it is, I can fully immerse myself in it and appreciate it. I think some things make me more hype, like rock or like early 2000s hip hop beats, those sorts of things definitely like get me in the mood to like get going and motivate me in my day. But honestly, anything that I can feel a little inspiration from is my jam. It really is.
Oh, that is awesome. And I love that you're embracing your own style. Of course, the Muslim religion as well. Um, being an African American Muslim out here, and more importantly, with a hearing impairment. Can you speak about some of the obstacles you had to overcome and how you was able to do so?
I think that when you're talking about all three pieces of those of my identity, I think that it's like these all intersect in some ways, but they present different challenges at different times. So I was blessed to grow up in an area where there were a lot of Black people, but I would be the only Muslim in the room. And then if I'd go to a conference with a lot of Muslim kids, it was mostly like Desi kids, Arab kids, North African. So then I'm kind of outside on that. What I had to do and what I love to do is to kind of embrace the fact that there's something we have similar, but bring my difference to the forefront and make people feel included in it and just like embrace where I am, right? And I think I try to bring that spirit into all of my art because what I realized being the other in a lot of situations is that regardless of whether or not you look like everyone in the room or sound like everyone in the room, every single person feels a little different in some way.
Right.
So I'm able to use what once ostracized me as a tool to be compassionate, to understand, to extend an olive branch to people who maybe hadn't extended it to me in the first place. And then with being hearing impaired, that brings its own set of circumstances because some people don't understand what that means. They're like, well, you hear me. That's not, it's a impairment, not complete deafness. For a long time, I was just trying to figure out my place in the deaf community. And now I fully embrace where I am, having deaf community members in my TikTok sphere and being able to have these conversations with other HH and deaf people. And on how I can bring them into the fold of my music, how I can make sure that it's something that's a full experience that they can enjoy as well. So, like saying all that to say, every single piece of who I am has contributed to how I present my music and how I present myself.
Now, this is kind of, you know, on the subject but off the subject question, almost like a funny type question. Members of your family or friends of your parents, do you get a lot of people wanting to have you sing at their events like randomly?
Yeah, I spent so much of my life singing at like events or being invited to perform places, and that I love to do it because at the time it wasn't my full-time career. It was just like, oh yay, I get a chance to do this. Now I still love it, but like this is what I do. But yeah,
Yeah.
lots. Can you come here? Can you come there for sure?
I can only imagine because I'm just thinking about my family. And yeah, if we had someone that has the platform as you do, I can definitely see a lot of my family members like, hey, tell her to see if she can get come sing at our bar mitzvah next
Oh
weekend
gosh,
for
it's a
free.
talent show. That's what it is in the family. It's a talent show.
That's that's all it is. Luckily, in my profession, I mean, covering sports and entertainment, I don't get too many requests. But I could only imagine if I had a talent for singing, they
Oh
would
my
have me everywhere.
goodness.
But now let's talk about becoming a pop star on MTV. What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, that was an incredible experience. I can't say enough good about being on that show, being in that environment. I feel like it changed me so much as an artist and even some as a person. Um, Going through that month and a half, of being fully immersed in my art, being thrown these challenges and being expected to drop a new song like that, but not only to write, but to think of the composition and to think of what the visuals would look like, to work with top industry professionals who are like serious about their business and are like, okay, you need to come with like energy and perspective, or else it's going to turn out a mess. So you had to learn very quickly. Like each song is written in like a day or less. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
wow.
You're going, and then it's like, okay, meet with your director. Okay, let's go for styling, costuming, all this. And I had to not only adjust to that pace, but also really make sure that every environment I went into was somewhere where I could stay true to myself. Um, there's definitely more considerations when I'm coming in a room in regards to like, do I have female dancers or a director that I'm comfortable working with? What are my clothes like, right? Because I need more layers, more length, more looseness, all these different things. Right down to, what is in craft services. Do I have anything to eat today? Like, is there something that fits in dietary restrictions? But I was able to like use it as a lot of teachable moments and help people to see it's not scary to have someone with differences on set. It just means, these are a few accommodations and then we can have fun. And at the end of the day, in the last episode, the producers actually told me that they have so appreciated the opportunity to work with me because they feel more comfortable and more prepared to work with folks in the future and to tell these kinds of stories on television.
Wow. So almost like as in you opened the door for many others just like you, just from those episodes you were involved in.
It was
What
it
is
was it was a really, you go episode by episode and day by day, and you're just like, I just have to do what's right. I have to represent myself properly, and I'll be okay. And you don't even realize fully like what the impact could be.
right?
But I've gotten so many messages and like just an avalanche of direct messages, mail, all sorts of things, just saying like, thank you for going out there and representing, and that means so much.
Yeah, and when you was going through those episodes, was there ever a time that crossed your mind, like, "Hey, this is who I'm representing. I have to make
Yeah.
sure that I cross my T's and dot my I's and represent."
Oh, it was complete. Everything was completely intentional. I wasn't robotic, but like everything that I did, every lyric and outfit and where I sat, everything had to do with making sure that, folks saw themselves in me. I'm not the ambassador for all of these different pieces of my identity, but I certainly am a rarity on television. And so if this is only going to happen once in a while until the snowball effect occurs, then I have to do the best I can to be the best representation I can be.
And just going back, and of course, now that the series is over, going back and looking at episodes, what is it like seeing yourself on television? And are there any things that you wish you could have done differently?
I I really don't have any regrets. I'm super happy because every song, like I fought for my songs. I worked hard on them, whether I was sick or I was well. Like every single episode, I made something that I felt really proud of and that I would put out myself if it wasn't with the show. So I'm really happy about that. I was really especially happy with the recap that they put up on the last episode, because it was like seeing a little movie of your
Yeah,
growth and of your life. And I was really proud of that.
that's so awesome. Now, being in front of like Becky G, Joe Jonas, and Sean Bankhead, was there ever a time where it just didn't seem real to you?
There's a lot of out of body moments. You have to recenter yourself and be like, I am actually here. Like when I when I look back at the show, I'm like, oh my gosh, these were my coach mentors. That's so weird. And all of them had such different things that they were looking for in each of us. So it was surreal, and I had to like take mental pictures so I wouldn't forget the moment.
And I know my daughter, she goes crazy over anybody with the name Jonas.
Oh gosh.
What was that like working with Joe?
Oh my gosh. Well, first off, I really appreciated his perspective because he really focused on the vocals, right? I think each of them had a thing that they were honed in on, and he loved a high note, he loved like a strong vocal, and he just wanted to feel the passion in your voice, no matter what you were saying. So I really enjoyed that. It was really cool to be that like close and face to face, especially having listened to a lot of his stuff when I was younger as well.
Yeah, oh, she would have loved for an opportunity to be there.
Look,
So when I told her I was gonna have you on, and I said, "Hey, guess who she worked with?" She was like, "Who?" I said, "One of the Jonas Brothers." She was, "No way."
oh my
Yeah,
gosh. I wish I was
I
still
have
there
to.
so I could tell her and tell him to give her a shout out.
Hey, if you ever get that opportunity, Lauren Butler,
Got you.
the
Lauren,
biggest
but
Jonas. I don't even know where this came from. Like how it originated when she started listening to the Jonas, but she's a huge
oh,
fan.
oh my gosh.
We're gonna have to make something happen. That would really make her day. I know it will.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Bet. Like,
And so can you discuss the TikTok platform?
mhm.
It's very underestimated, but you've grown tremendously based off TikTok. Right now, I consider you one of the voices of the deaf community. Like, what does
Oh,
that
thank
mean
you.
to you?
TikTok, I agree with you. It's such an underestimated platform until you're in it and then you recognize, oh, this controls music and a lot of the messaging right now in so many different industries. Um, I joined TikTok last year. I didn't expect for there to be so many people in my community now, certainly not for a television show to come out of it. Um, but the best things about TikTok are that you can find your organic audience and your niche and people who really care about what you have to say. Um, and when when I shared with the audience that I am someone who is hearing impaired and still doing music, so many deaf TikTokers came to my page, and I've built so much community and so many friendships through that. When I go live, a lot of them join and we talk. I go in theirs and we have discussions, and it means a great deal to me to know that I'm able to have more community than I ever have with people like me. I used to try to learn sign language and then I got super rusty because there was no one to practice with. Now I have people to talk to, and I can't overestimate the value that TikTok has brought to my life.
And I could be wrong, but I thought I saw this on TikTok. Didn't someone do your song and sign?
Yes, they did. A bunch of folks from Deaf Talk, so the Deaf TikTok niche, came together and made an interpreted version of "Let My Music Play," which had my whole family crying.
I
Like
can only imagine.
it hit me so hard. It was just like I can't believe that this is the impact that can really happen.
Yeah, that's incredible. I saw that this morning. And I'm like, man, I couldn't even imagine what that would feel like having just a community rally around that. That song itself is probably a lot of them could be using that as a motivational song. So I would. That's an unsurreal feeling to know the type of impact that you're making on so many lives out here.
Thank
Uh,
you. Like,
uh, no, no problem at all. Um, Now taking I know on your Instagram I think I saw you baking once,
yeah.
which that looked amazing, by
Thank
the way.
you.
Yeah, listen, hey, you got a side career as a chef. That looked great. Um, I'm really big on the mental health aspect. Outside of music, what are some things that you enjoy that kind of take you away from just being an artist?
For sure. I think that's so important, because it becomes your whole life. I love to go to the park, particularly Stone Mountain Park. It's so beautiful and it's really calm. It's small and it's just a place where you can just totally reconnect and just center yourself. I love hanging out with my friends, not just like they mean so much to me. They inspire me a lot and they're so goofy and they let
Mm.
me like let my hair down, so to speak, um, and just be myself 100%. And I think that inspires me to like share more of who I am online too. I do like to bake. My sister's the chef. I'm the baker for sure.
Oh,
Uh,
that's where the talent comes from. It's gene pool. Okay.
Oh my gosh, yeah, Amina, like she can cook up a storm, and then I love making cakes and pies and breads and stuff. Um, and then I just like to like have time to watch The Office and obsess over mockumentaries. Like I love Community and Brooklyn Nine-Nine and all those kind of things. And I really like to like get in depth with the characters and go into the nuances. That's something I like to nerd out on a little bit.
Oh, no, that's how I am with movies. I get
Hmm.
into movies because I put myself inside the character. And
Yes.
if I feel like I lose myself in the movie, it was a great movie.
Yes, 100%. I love old movies for sure. Like I probably stuff that people don't watch, unfortunately, The Bad Seed and those sorts of things. And then lots of older shows. Like I grew up on Facts of Life, Different Strokes, and What's Happening, and all these things. Those are my jam for sure.
And I know I could talk forever, but I'm gonna end everything here with this one last question. For the little girls that look up to you, who wants to be Amira Unplugged, what are some advice that you have for those that's looking to be in a position that you're in?
Something I've started saying and that I want to emphasize throughout my career is that you can be yourself and win. I put it in my bio a couple of days ago too, because, the greatest triumph you can have is just being fully 100% yourself and finding the places that will accept you, making them accept you. I've been invited onto a lot of different shows that haven't gone to air because, people didn't know what would happen. They were scared of the unknown, but I don't regret staying true to myself in any of those circumstances because it's brought so much peace to me and my family, and it's brought way better opportunities in that way. So if you're trying to pursue music or art or anything that requires you to step out in front of the world, just be you. I know you hear it all the time, but it's true. Like it's so easy to lose yourself. Don't lose yourself.
And kind of to end everything off here, is there anything that you could maybe disclose that you have coming up or working on?
Well, I hope y'all follow me on Instagram and on TikTok at Amira Unplugged. It's spelled just like this because I will be making announcements there. But I will be heading back to Cali in June to do some recording. I told them like when I got the fan favorite prizes, I was like, this is being reinvested right into the music, and I was serious about that. So before this year is up, there will be some songs out.
All right, guys, you heard it here. Thank you so much again for taking time out your day and allowing me to interview you. Guys, again, this is a another interview by Sports Culture Sports Media, brought to you by the Carolina Law Group, Amira Unplugged. And where can they follow you again?
They can follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I'm on YouTube as well. It's Amira Unplugged, Amira Unplugged.
There we go. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. You have a great one.
You too.